Okay, again, warm welcome to everyone who is now logged in. So this afternoon's webinar is quite unique from the previous ones that we have been delivering under the GIS Conversations banner that we have, because this is actually a sneak peek or a preview for the upcoming GeoBIM certification course that Esri Singapore along with BIMAGE Consulting will be launching. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our two speakers for this afternoon. So we have Miss Sharon Jin, our lead geospatial consultant from Esri Singapore, and Miss Pratibha, a senior consultant at BIMAGE Consulting. Now let me hand over the floor to Sharon. Sharon, please.
Thank you, Zara. Thank you everyone for joining us today, taking the time off to spend 1 hour with us. So today we're just going to cover a very brief intro of this GeoBIM certification course that we are starting, and also answer some of the questions that you might have regarding this course. So I'm going to start. This webinar today with a brief introduction to what GIS is. And Pratibha would come in later to talk a little bit about BIM, and then we would talk about what GeoBIM is. So I'll start off with introduction to GIS. So GIS stands for Geographic Information System. So what is this system about? It is a system that helps you to organize your data, to be able to communicate your scenarios through that data, and to be able to help you understand the size of the world. It has a framework that helps you to be able to gather all your data in one place, to be able to manage, to maintain and update your data, and also to be able to analyze data as well. It is a framework that helps you connect people to systems of hardware and software. And this system of hardware and software is where you would organize layers, what we call layers of information. And using this different sets of information, you can build them into visualizations using 2D and 3D maps. And in this workspace, it helps you to be able to do spatial analysis. It also helps you to be able to integrate various business workflows together. And so within the analysis that you do, you are able to derive deeper insights into that data so that it can help you make smarter decisions. So some of the applications that are commonly seen within GIS, I've listed out here. Of course, it's not limited to this list. It's only limited, by your imagination and what you can do with your data. But these are the very common ones that we see. How do we identify problems using patterns and trends? So how do your data correlate to each other spatially, and how they can form patterns within the spatial space? And from there, you are able to understand various trends from your data, whether more incidents are congregated into a single space next to each other, and how and whether incidents may be spreading across a space as well. So be able to identify problems by analyzing and visualizing the patterns and the trends. And also thereafter, after you have looked at the trend, to be able to understand what are the contributing factors that may have caused such a trend or caused such a pattern for occurring. And thereafter, after getting the trend, after identifying areas that may indicate problems, that's where you probably need to prioritize efforts to solve that problem. So for instance, if let's say looking at crime incidents within a certain area in Singapore, you're finding that certain hotspots within Singapore have higher incidents or occurrences of a certain type of crime. And that's where you need to probably deploy more police officers to patrol the area so that you can reduce those occurrences of crime. So that's one very common application that we see. Another one that we see is also to be able to monitor changes over time. So visualizing of point data or visualizing of image data taken over different periods of time, and looking and comparing to see what are the changes. So we commonly see this in disasters where satellite imagery are taken of the same area before and after a disaster, and then you'll be able to identify what damage a disaster may have caused to an area. Also, in relation to monitoring changes over time, GIS provides you with real-time situational awareness of what's happening on the ground. So whether be it CCTV cameras that are deployed on the ground, location of where your officers are, body cams, or even IoT sensors, smart devices and their statuses. So all of these assets give new information at different times of the day. And so GIS is able to collate all of this information together and display it in one platform. And with all the data that you have collected over time, you're also able to analyze them to look for trends, and then subsequently to be able to forecast certain events from happening. So you're able to probably identify what are the things that causes things to fail, and be able to proactively prevent that from happening by analyzing all of these events. So I'm going to hand over now to Pratibha, who will be talking a bit more about BIM.
Hello everyone, I'll be giving you a quick introduction about BIM, what BIM is and what is GeoBIM. And before we start, I would like to, introduce everyone about BIM. I think we all know that the BIM stands for the Building Information Modeling, and BIM is an intelligent 3D model-based process that gives the AEC professionals the insights and tools to more effectively plan, design, construct, and manage buildings and infrastructure. So basically, everything starts with a 3D model, and then you start inputting the information inside the model. We all know that the type of information always underpins the quality of a BIM model, and information is always the key thing for a BIM model throughout the life cycle of a project. So whatever information or intelligent input you key inside the BIM model, then after that you can take out a lot of information out of that model throughout the different life cycles, or you can say the different stages of your project. It can be specifications, building analysis, production details, schedules, quantity takeoff, clash detection, 3D visualization, and also 2D drawings. So basically, BIM model will be a consistent, coordinated, and computable output of a 3D model. So basically, BIM is Building Information Modeling, and we all know that the information will be very important in that. And normally people feel that the BIM is only a 3D model, or is this only a software product that you can only use one or two softwares to create the BIM model. But actually, the BIM is a process involving the generation and management of the digital representation of physical and functional characteristics of a building. It's not only a software, but it's a process which helps you to drive the setting up the modeling standards to implement and monitor, and the end product which you get from a BIM is a 3D model. Nowadays, that means we all know that the projects are getting more complicated and more stakeholders are getting involved inside one project. So there is a requirement for the integrated project delivery. Initially, what was happening inside the traditional project delivery, there will be an owner who will be dealing with the architect and then contractor, and then under the contractor will be subcons or the subsystems. Then under the architect will be structural or the MEP engineers. But now, because of the need of the time today, we need to start working with the shared model. And that's why we work with the BIM model. BIM model is always an integrated project where you can input the information and can take out the information from the model, that whether you are an owner, architect, or structure engineer. So in the end, there is a coordinated output, as we already said. Okay, so after the introduction to GIS and BIM, now we would like to give you an introduction about GeoBIM. But before we start giving you an introduction that what we think GeoBIM is, before that, we would like to debunk some of the myths which normally everyone is having, and we are listening from our clients. The first myth about the GeoBIM is the GeoBIM is just for visualizing beautiful design in its environment, which is actually a myth, because as you have heard about the GIS and BIM, the common thing between the two of them is I, which is information. So the GeoBIM is a process which can help you to save the time, money, and achieving the high confidence outcome during the design and construction processes. How it will give you this outcome? Because as I already said, that the information is the key thing. So what you can do is you can actually leverage the core competences of GIS and BIM to have the better performance analysis of a building, including the surroundings. So the next myth which normally people have, that you cannot directly use BIM model inside the GIS, but now we would like to debunk this myth that you can directly load your BIM models inside the GIS, because now that Autodesk has a that integration with the Esri, that you can directly use the BIM models. Like even you can take AutoCAD, Revit, or BIM 360 information inside the different platforms in GIS. Then the third myth, which is there, which is very common, is GeoBIM is only useful for understanding of the construction of the building and its environment. The people think that normally that BIM is only about one project, and then GIS will give you an introduction about the construction surroundings or the environment. But the actual reality is the BIM is an effective tool for working with the single building, and with the help of GIS, you can further look at the patterns with the building and its surrounding environment, and also analyze the existing relationship in the area. So we always focus that not only visualization, analysis is the key thing here inside the GeoBIM. Okay, so after that, we would like to introduce that what GeoBIM is. GeoBIM is the seamless integration of GIS and the BIM technologies in one platform. This combined approach enables all the project data and solutions from both technologies to be viewed and evaluated in a centralized portal. With the help of GeoBIM, you can actually deal with the different kind of data, which can range from imagery, it can be a Google imagery or the aerial imagery of the site, then geological data, topographical information, other infrastructure data sets like the road network and utilities, not only which is adjoining to your site, but also in the surroundings up to your whatever area you want to achieve. For example, that sometimes you want to check whether that from one MRT station, what is the direct linkage to your site, then you can also analyze that thing. And environment data, and most important thing is the BIM models. The integration of these technologies that people think that is emerging from right now, but we would like to tell you that AEC sector and GIS are working together from so long that we have an integration from 2015 version of GIS Revit onwards with all your GIS platforms. And also, other than Revit or the Autodesk technologies, even you can link directly through the IFC also for other softwares also. So it means that not only about Autodesk, you can also talk about the Graphisoft or any other software which deals with the BIM model to link your information inside the GIS platform. Now, the most important question is that why BIM GIS integration is required. The BIM GIS integration will help you to make anything with the science of where. As we say, BIM is about making anything, and Esri GIS is the science of where, that where you want to build. So BIM offers detailed 3D visualization and ability to organize huge volume of data related to buildings. And the GIS is highly customizable, well equipped for analysis, and ideal for projects in a multi-site or the spatially distributed environment. While BIM is the best suited for managing data related to building itself, GIS is more applicable for everything outside building. So now you can even do macro and micro analysis using the GeoBIM. Okay, so now Sharon will give you about the introduction about the workflows.
Yeah, so as Pratibha has mentioned earlier, how GIS and BIM can work together is mainly through the transfer of data between the two different technologies. So how GIS and how the analysis of the surrounding areas are able to support the BIM process and vice versa. So that is the key way in which GIS and BIM can work together, and that's what the whole GeoBIM practice is about. Being able to integrate data coming in from GIS into BIM, and then vice versa from BIM into GIS. So imagine in a planning process of your building life cycle, you want to determine the buildable area that you have within which you are able to build up a building. So the GIS would come in to analyze, firstly, which is the site that is most suitable for you to build that particular building. So it will analyze things like the road networks around that area. It will analyze even the geographical aspects like the slope and the soil in that area. and you analyze various aspects of that site and whatever surrounding it to determine which site is the most suitable as a location for whatever building that you want to construct. And then it also comes in to look at various regulatory requirements and criteria to analyze the amount of space that is available for you to build up, and then how high you are able to build. So all of this would come in to help you evaluate various sites and to identify a site that would be able to meet the target that you have intended your building to have. So in that plan process, what comes out from the GIS is a polygon of a buildable area. And this polygon would then flow into the BIM process, which would come in to do conceptual designs of the building. It can also come in to do detailed design at this stage as well, to design a 3D model of that building. And then subsequently, that model can flow back into the GIS, where you can do further analysis, like how a building within this area would impact its surroundings, and how the surrounding may impact that new building as well. It can also do things like clash detection to ensure that constructing a building in that area is not going to affect any of the existing infrastructure that's already in place at that site. So in the plan and design stage, we really see this transfer of information between the GIS and the BIM process, and that is the concept behind the whole GeoBIM practice. And this would flow down not only in the plan and design stage, it also goes into the build and operate stage as well. So during construction, BIM data can come into the GIS to be visualized against 3D scans that you may do of that construction site. It helps you check if your construction is going in line with your schedule. That is one. It also helps you check if whatever is built is in line with what was designed. And also in the operate stage, the BIM data forms a very good landscape within which your facilities managers are able to do their operational workflows. It helps them clearly identify where assets are, and it gives them that context, that geospatial context within which they can operate. And the GIS comes in to take care of all the movable data that's within a building. So it takes care of movable assets, tracks the location of all of these movable assets. It also can come in to look at moving statistics of the various smart devices you have within your building. So it helps you to be able to keep track of what values your sensors are capturing, and to be able to quickly alert you if certain things are above a certain threshold. So we see this GeoBIM concept flowing throughout this whole building life cycle, and we find that it is a very powerful concept in being able to streamline a lot of processes and brings a lot of value, in every single stage, and cost savings as well. So some of the benefits are summarized here. Of course, this is the one of the key list of benefits that we find from GeoBIM. There are definitely others that you can uncover as you continue to practice this whole GeoBIM integration. So one of the first ones is being able to visualize the building in its environment. So as we said earlier, you are able to analyze the impact of a building in its environment, and how a solar may impact a building as well. So in the area of how the sun may affect a building, we are also able to identify, which parts of the building are being have a sun shining on them at different times of the day, and that's how building architects may come in to design the different materials that are being used on different parts of the building, and even the facing of the building will come into a decision on which facing the building should take. Would also take into account, the direction of the sun at different points, different times of the day. And also within the construction process, this time efficiency would come in to help you reduce the amount of rework that you need to do, because being able to understand the site and what's around the site would help you to be able to better plan how you're going to construct in that place, and so prevents delays and prevents the need for rework. Also in the area of operations, the GIS comes in to be able to help facilities management assign tasks very efficiently to all of its few officers, and then also to be able to enable them with a map to be able to locate incidents that are being reported. So this helps them to be more productive and helps them to be able to meet their service levels more efficiently. So we see overall, it helps reduce the cost at different stages of the project. It helps prevent a need for rework of a project. It is a single integrated platform where you're able to see all of your assets, your building information, and your GIS assets within a single platform. It gives that whole operating picture for different stakeholders to come in and analyze and observe various statistics that they are looking at within a building. And lastly, it gives you that digital twin, which would enable your planning and your operation analysis. So some of the applications, we're just going to cover some of the applications of GeoBIM here. And what you see here is looking at a building and looking at the different tenant mix within that building. So in terms of tenant management, for facilities owners, they would like to have a certain kind of a good ratio of different tenants that are coming into the estate. So this helps them to be able to visualize that and to identify areas where they may need to attract different kinds of tenants into the building. And another area is in the area of operations, where you can actually tag a certain incident or a certain faulty equipment within the building directly to that asset in the BIM model. So this helps you to be able to identify where all these faulty assets are, so that your facilities management officers are able to find their way to these assets and to be able to fix those problems very quickly. And then in the area of construction, here we see a BIM model being overlaid on top of a drone image, a 3D scan that is being done of the construction site. So this is, as you can see, it's a very high resolution kind of drone imagery that you can collect. And GIS is able to ingest this 3D scan within the GIS platform, and then also to be able to bring in that BIM design into a single platform for you to check if whatever is being constructed is in line with whatever that has been planned, whether there are any delays in your construction where you may need to get more resources in to be able to meet your project timelines, or whether whatever is constructed is in line with what was designed. And here in the area, in this new emerging technology that we see a lot in the area of AR and VR, we see this GeoBIM concept is also able to be applied. So what you see on the video here is a VR representation of a new possible building that you want to construct, and you're able to look at how the sun may cast a shadow on the building and be able to get a first-person view from the ground of that building. So it's a very good use of technology to showcase to stakeholders in the presentation, to show them what this new building is going to look like once it's being constructed. And then in the area of AR, you're also able to bring your plans to the actual site, so that you are able to visualize it and to be able to place the relevant markers that you require before you start any construction works. And in summary, GIS and BIM as a technology, it is a practice that can be applied in all 4 stages of the building life cycle, in your plan, design, build, and operate stage. It removes the old way of working where there are different technology silos, where GIS remains in the GIS space and BIM remains in the BIM space. We bring those two together to help you improve collaboration between the various teams and to accelerate your design decisions. It also helps you to be able to communicate better to stakeholders when there's a 3D digital twin of different sets of data within a single platform. It helps you to be able to communicate your concepts and to communicate the designs to your stakeholders. It also helps you to accelerate regulatory approvals as well. And it helps you reduce risk of data loss, where you are able to maintain all your data across the entire project cycle. It also improves operational efficiency, being able to visualize assets within that building information model. So just some interesting facts about GeoBIM. So this is a map of the top 10 GeoBIM ready countries in the world. And as you can see, the top on the list is United States. Of course, this is based on index that's taken 2020. Okay, so this is quite a recent index. And we can see Singapore is somewhere down the line at rank number 9. So we are pushing out the GeoBIM certification course as one of our aim, is to improve our ranking of GeoBIM readiness in the world. Okay, so I'd just like to cover some FAQs that you might have in relation to this GeoBIM certification course. Okay, so you might want to know, do I need to know Esri software or do I need to know Revit before I can sign up for this course? Okay, so there are no prerequisites required for this course. It is a introductory basic course, so you do not need to know GIS Pro or Revit. Although it would be beneficial for you to know either one of them. But if you have zero knowledge, you're still welcome to join us. We'll be covering the very basics of both softwares within this course. Okay, so what are the skills that you can expect to get out from this course? Okay, so as the name of the course suggests, there is basics of GIS that you will learn. There's basics of BIM that you will cover as well. And then, of course, the combination of these two technologies, which is GeoBIM, how it can be applied in real-world scenarios of the various stages of the building life cycle, we will also be covering them. It is also a hands-on course, so you'll be expected to do exercises, and there will be a scenario where we would craft out for you, where you will be able to see the real-world application of a GeoBIM concept. Okay, then how would this course relate to my work? Okay, so as you can see, with the pandemic hit and how it has impacted the construction industry, digitalization is something that we see changing a lot of our workflows, not just in construction, but in all of our various jobs. Digitalization has been one of the key themes that we have seen coming out of the pandemic. So what we're trying to bring across with GeoBIM is the power that you can get from digitalization. And so this would cover several examples of how GeoBIM is able to improve workflows all the way from design process up to your maintenance workflows. Okay, so when will we be offering this course? The first class right now is taking place 6th to 8th of January. Of course, there will be future runs of the course, but you can go into our website to sign up for the class if you're interested. Okay, so another question could be, is the course delivered online or is it an on-site course? Okay, so the course would actually be delivered in Esri Singapore's headquarters, which is at Alice at Mediapolis. But not to worry, there are safe distancing measures that are already in place for all our physical classes. So we have ensured that the number of people do not exceed a certain amount required by safe distancing. So if you have further questions, you are welcome to write in the question pane of this webinar, or you can also scan this QR code. I believe this brings you to the application website of GeoBIM, and then on that website you will also get more information about the course as well. So we're opening the webinar up now for any questions that you might have. So I think I see one question in the VR, AR, MR simulation slide. Did you use CD Engine? Right. So the one for VR, that video, the VR simulation is being created by CD Engine. But we wouldn't be covering that within the GeoBIM course. CD Engine is a more it's a more technical course, and we actually do have another training course that is specifically for CD Engine itself. So if you're interested, you can also go to our Esri Singapore website, the training, to look at the details of the CD Engine course. Yeah, so I think we don't have any other questions.
Yeah, so I think I see some more here. Let me read out some. So there are questions about costing. How much is the cost of the training? How much will we charge per person? if you actually scan the QR code right here on this slide that Sharon is sharing, you will be directed to the sign up page at the SU Singapore website for the GeoBIM course. So that page will contain the information about the costing as well as the available schedules for the upcoming classes. So as Sharon has mentioned earlier, the first class will be in January 2021. And I think there are also upcoming classes in the coming months for February and March at that particular page also.
Yeah.
Okay, I see one. Would the course involve the use of ArcGIS and BIM software, for example, Revit? Yes. So, yes,
Yeah, so
Sharon.
within the class, there would be a quick intro into ArcGIS Pro, which is the GIS software. And then there is also a very quick intro into BIM software, and we are going to be using Revit within the course as well. So you would be you will expect to be able to use these two different softwares within the training.
Yes. Okay. Does this course teach us on how to use BIM? As mentioned previously, there will be introductory parts for both BIM and GIS, but then the main focus for the exercises and the rest of the course will be how to use GeoBIM on both Revit and ArcGIS Pro. So to answer the question, yes, it will teach you how to use BIM, but that will not be the main focus of the course. Okay, do you have a brief outline of the course? A breakdown of what would be covered would be helpful. Yes, so that is also found in the page. I believe in that page you should be able to download a PDF copy um, of the course outline that will contain the basically an overview of the chapters that will be covered in the course that will be offered. Let's see if we can share that page here. Okay, being a geomatic student who is interested in learning about GeoBIM, what would be the ideal way to start off? This course would be the ideal way to start off because it will give. Okay, so I think Sharon is going to share the page at the SU Singapore website just so everyone can have a quick view. Yeah, so going back to the question, yeah, we will be covering introductions of GIS and BIM and GeoBIM itself, and basically the main focus, especially for the exercises that the students will be doing subsequently in the course, is that how you can apply or how you can use GeoBIM in certain scenarios as you go through each exercises, right? So from here, yes, this is the page, and you should be able to download the course outline. There we go. So you can see it here on our screen, listing down if there are any prerequisites involved before signing up for the course, as well as the topics that we will be covering for the duration of the course. Okay. Will you be conducting an online training in the future for those of us that is not in Singapore? We shall get back to this question subsequently once we have started offering the course in January 2021. Okay. Any more questions that we have regarding the course, regarding GeoBIM? Yeah, and as Sharon has highlighted earlier, digitalization is actually a key component that has affected all of us since the pandemic hit. Hence, GeoBIM, I think, is one of the main themes that is up and coming right now in terms of that aspect of digitalization. Okay, I think we do not have any more questions coming in. So with that, we would like, in behalf of Pratibha and Sharon, we would like to thank everybody for joining our info talk on the introduction of the GeoBIM certification course with Esri Singapore and BIMAGE. We wish you all a pleasant afternoon and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you and goodbye.